Hi, my name is Laura Lewis. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the lead researcher on this study. In this video, we're going to be going over the background questions that we'll ask you as you begin participation in this study. Questions in this section will be about your background, such as age, gender, race, and your romantic and sexual identity and experiences, for example, romantic attraction, sexual attraction, and experience in relationships. The estimated time is 10 to 15 minutes. Take as long as you'd like. If you're completing this on an online survey, we recommend that you do not complete this stage on a mobile device and instead complete this on a tablet or laptop or desktop computer. First, we'll ask you, what is your age in years? What is your gender? The options below include agender, cisgender, man, non-binary, transgender, woman, unsure or questioning, another gender not listed, please identify, or prefer not to say. This is a select all that apply question. Next, how would you describe your sexual orientation? Select all that apply. Options include asexual, bisexual, gay, lesbian, monogamous, pansexual, polyamorous, queer, straight or heterosexual, unsure or questioning, another sexual orientation not listed, please identify, or prefer not to say. What state do you live in? This is a drop-down menu of states in the United States. Are you of Hispanic or Latino, Latina, Latine, or Latinx origin? Yes, no, or prefer not to say. What is your highest level of education completed? Some high school graduate or GED, trade, technical or vocational training, some college graduate, bachelor's or associates, some postgraduate work, postgraduate degree, MA, MS, etc., doctorate, PhD, MD, DO, JD, etc., or prefer not to say. Which of the following describes your employment status? Select all that apply. Employed for wages full-time, which is 30 hours or more per week. Employed for wages part-time, which is fewer than 30 hours per week. Self-employed, not currently working, unable to work, looking for work, retired, homemaker or caregiver, student, military, volunteer, I have a disability that impacts my ability to work, or other, please describe, or prefer not to say. What is the level of your annual household income? This is a drop-down menu with options for different income brackets. Optionally, at the end, you can add additional comments about any of your answers above. When you're finished with this section, if you're completing on an online survey, you can click Save and Continue. These next questions are about your autism identity. We have a disclaimer here. We are asking these next questions for reporting purposes only. We acknowledge that formal diagnosis and evaluation related to autism is often problematic, for example, inaccessible and biased. At what age did you start feeling that you were neurologically different from your peers? Infancy, or 0 to 1 years of age, toddler, or 1 to 3 years of age, childhood, or 4 to 11 years of age, adolescence, or 12 to 17 years of age, young adult, or 18 to 29 years of age, or prefer not to say. Have you ever been formally evaluated for an autism diagnosis by a healthcare professional? Yes, no, or prefer not to say. If you select yes to this item, you may see 2 additional questions. Have you ever received a diagnosis related to autism from a healthcare provider? Yes, no, or prefer not to say. And at what age did you first receive an autism diagnosis? Infancy, toddler, childhood, adolescence, young adulthood, or prefer not to say. The last question in this section, do you self-identify as an autistic person? Yes, I'm not sure, no, or prefer not to say. And at the end of this section, if you're completing on an online survey, you can click Save and Continue. This next section will be about romantic partnerships. By romantic partnerships, we are talking about a consensual relationship with one or more partners that involves emotional intimacy, such as love or connection, that goes beyond friendship. This may or may not also include physical intimacy, such as sex. How would you describe the genders of people you are romantically attracted to? This is an open-ended question. Have you had a romantic partner? You can select yes, no, or prefer not to say. If you select yes, you may see 3 additional questions. Approximately how many romantic partners have you had? What genders have you had romantic partners with? Select all that apply, and options include same gender as mine, different gender from mine, multiple genders, I am not described in any of the above, please describe, or prefer not to say. And what is the longest romantic partnership you have been in? Options include less than 1 week to less than 3 months, 3 months to less than 6 months, 6 months to less than 1 year, 1 year to less than 2 years, 3 years to less than 5 years, 5 years or more, or prefer not to say. Are you currently in a romantic partnership? Yes, no, I'm not sure, or prefer not to say. Please rate your level of agreement with the following statement. I feel satisfied with the number of romantic partnerships that I've had. Strongly disagree, disagree, neither disagree nor agree, agree, or strongly agree. Please rate your level of agreement with the following statement. I feel satisfied with the quality of romantic partnerships that I've had. Strongly disagree, disagree, neither disagree nor agree, agree, or strongly agree. For you, does an ideal romantic partnership include sex? This is an open-ended item. You can type your response or write it on a mail-in survey. Is there anything else you would like to tell us about your satisfaction with romantic partnerships? Here you can select no or yes, and if you select yes, we ask that you please describe using the text box below. If you're completing this on an online survey, you can click Save and Continue. This next section is about sexual partnerships. By sexual partnerships, we're talking about a consensual relationship with one or more partners that involves sexual touching, such as oral sex, sexual intercourse, or other forms of sexual intimacy. This may or may not also include emotional intimacy. How would you describe the genders of the people you are sexually attracted to? This is an open-ended question you can answer using the text box here. Have you had a sexual partner? Yes, no, or prefer not to say. If you select yes, you may see 2 additional questions. Approximately how many sexual partners have you had? And what genders have you had sexual partnerships with? Select all that apply. Options include same gender as mine, different gender from mine, multiple genders, I am not described in any of the above, and please describe below, or prefer not to say. Please rate your level of agreement with the following statement. I feel satisfied with the number of sexual partnerships that I've had. Strongly disagree, disagree, neither disagree nor agree, agree, or strongly agree. For you, does an ideal sexual partnership include romance? Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about your satisfaction with sexual partnerships? No, yes, and if so, please describe in the text box below. And when you're finished with the screen, you can click Save and Continue if you're completing on an online survey. Is there anything else about your background that you feel it's important for us to know? Here you can select no and yes and use the text box there. This completes the background questions section. If you're completing this on a survey using mail-in or online options, someone from our team will contact you within 2 weeks with next steps to complete the interview questions. Here you can click Save and Continue to finish and submit the survey.